lobby. Let's all go to the lobby, lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Hello, horror hounds, and welcome to Now Slain, an It Slays podcast production where we review the latest and greatest in the world of horror. I'm your humble host, Rowan.
Hey, it's Jill.
And we have another double feature for you. I feel like we're just hitting you with the double features over and over again while we take over the Now Slain duties from Colton until he comes back.
Mm-hmm. We're busy picking up the slack around here.
Yeah, that's right. Just our backs are so sore from carrying Now Slain.
Actually, yeah, but I think it's because we're old.
So to start off with, on this episode, we will be talking about The Strangers Chapter 2 that was released September 26, 2025. Jill, Strangers. Correct me if I'm wrong, you haven't even seen the original one, correct? Or like the sequel to that?
Yep.
We kind of threw you into it immediately, being like, hey, you need to go see Chapter 2. Give us like, just, I guess, let us know how much you don't know about The Strangers.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know why it's such a blind spot for me in horror, but I remember when the first chapter of The Strangers came out a couple of years ago and everyone was talking about it, and I didn't even know there was like an original kind of franchise or anything, so I didn't really care to see it, which I guess is good because it was a steaming pile of dog shit. Because I watched it the other night to prepare. I couldn't just come on here and not watch at least, the movie before this one. I'm just convinced that Rowan wants to torture me, possibly. But so yeah, this is all new to me. But I know that the original is very beloved, and people are not happy about the kind of reboot that's going on right now.
Are you like a fan or familiar with Renny Harlin, like the director or anything? No?
Nuh-uh, not at all. I know nothing.
Yeah.
Tell me.
No, I mean, I think, kids of the 80s, 90s are probably have a soft spot for Renny Harlin. Very well known in the action horror realm. He directed Die Hard 2, Cliffhanger, kind of some iconic action movies. One of my favorite action movies of the 90s, The Long Kiss Goodnight. Also, but in terms of horror, most famously known for directing A Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master, which I think is a really underrated one. Me and Mike always talk about, he's got Dream Warriors and I'm Dream Master. It's kind of my second favorite of it. I think it's really, really underappreciated. He also directed Deep Blue Sea, and he did some Exorcist movie. He did Exorcist The Beginning that came out in the early 2000s. That was a whole shit show mess when that came out. Kind of a director for hire. That's kind of his, MO. And I was going to say, yeah, I mean, anybody that's listening to this probably listened to me and Colton talk about Strangers Chapter 1, which we both absolutely despised. I'm a big fan of the original, The Strangers. And also a pretty big fan, not a huge fan, but I thought the sequel that came out to that, it was I think it was called The Strangers Pray at Night. I kind of like that one. It was kind of funny and fun. They kind of did flipped it on its thing so it wasn't serious, and it was this funny slasher movie, and I really liked it. It was neon soaked. It was just neon lights everywhere, and I did enjoy that one also. But yeah, the Chapter 1 wasn't my jam. So you know what? With that, let's begrudgingly go on over to the trailer, and we'll be back with our spoiler-free thoughts.
Is there anything else you can remember?
There were 3 of them. It was some kind of ritual.
So you're the one everybody's talking about? You're gonna have a tough time making friends around here.
Why are you doing this?
Because you're here. The Strangers, Chapter 2, rated R, only in theaters September 26th.
The Strangers Chapter 2 is directed by Rennie Harlin and written by Alan Friedland and Alan R. Cohen, and the synopsis is as follows. When the Strangers learn that one of their victims, Maya, is still alive, they return to finish what they've started. So here on Now Slaying, we like to start with the spoiler-free section first. Jill, just already shaking your head. In the spoiler-free section. I feel like this is, in spoiler-free territory, this is a good place for you to vent a little bit, especially where you're kind of having that unique experience of having Chapter 1 rammed in right next to Chapter 2. I'm not sure if you were aware, but so when Chapter 1 came out last year, the original concept for the release of these was all three coming out in like 1 month. They were going to release these all in theater like a week after one another. But because the first one essentially just like bombed, they held off on that one a bit. I feel it must have had some steam on streaming. I could see this being like the first one being a, Stranger Chapter. Yeah, let me click on that. But yeah, let us know some spoiler-free thoughts you had about this one.
So yeah, I just watched Chapter 1 last week. And when it ended with her in the hospital bed, finally surviving this night of terrors, she's like falling asleep and she's either hallucinating or she actually sees what do we call him here? The guy with the bag over his head? Because I know he has a name in like the original, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I call him Baghead or something like, although I feel like that sounds kind of mildly like racist or something. I don't think he even has like a credited name, really. I'm looking on the fly here. It says Scarecrow in the credits for Chapter 1. So I guess they're calling it Scarecrow, Dollface, and Pinup Girl.
Okay, excellent. So yeah, when the first movie ended like that, I was like, oh no, right? There's a sequel, and this is where we're leaving it. This long night that never ended in the first one is going to continue. And that's basically what happened. It's like the day after or whatever that like the first movie takes place, and she's in the hospital. Yeah, I wasn't sure what to expect. Honestly, the wind was taken out of my sails when I watched Chapter 1, and I was like, okay, this is going to drag on. This is going to keep going. We have 3 chapters of this to get through. God help us. So yeah, I didn't have high hopes for any of this, and I will say this: if this movie was like direct to streaming or on Tubi or something like that, like very low stakes sort of situation, I think this has the capacity to be something we would have liked on Stream Screams if we, watched this for that show. But to go to a theater and watch this I don't know if that's something people want to do. But what did you think initially?
Yeah, I mean, so to me, we obviously were kind of hinted at in Chapter 1 where this is kind of going, because, in Chapter 1, we're introduced to this town. It's kind of the horror trope, like everyone's a little off in the town and, they don't seem to love outsiders and all this. And if I remember correctly, there's kind of like, there is a lot of hints to like, you're going to find out through this trilogy, like who the strangers, what's their deal, which totally like takes the wind out of the sails. Like the whole premise of the strangers and why the original works so well was like you're randomly selected by people you don't know, why the famous stranger line, right, is why are you doing this? And they say, 'cause you're home. And that's like, that was the crux of the original idea. That's like absolutely frightening for not just a slasher, but like a home invasion type film. And yeah, I mean, this is exactly what me and Colton were scared of, right? We were like, in the first chapter, they had like hinted at these like tattoos or something. This one, they hint even more into the tattoos. The townspeople are even weirder and more secretive. And it's not even, my issue is like when you go into this, and you're like, oh, this guy's a little weird. But like this could be a misdirect. Like they're misdirecting me because everyone's a little weird. But no, it's like anyone you think is one of the strangers are the strangers. They literally don't hide it whatsoever. And it's just like, it makes no sense. I did appreciate, I will say this, because, you said something good, so I want to say something kind of good. Although your thing was just, if it was on streaming, I wouldn't hate it. But I appreciate the love of Halloween 2 in this. Obviously, like, a big section of this film it's a hospital movie. It's like slashers in the hospital. There's like a lot of scenes that are really just like, you can tell are seeped in Rennie Harlan, like trying to call back to Halloween 2, which is basically the same premise. Except that movie works because it's not like all these different set pieces like outside and other place. Like, it's just in the hospital. It's a one scene chase around the hospital for an hour and 20 minutes, hour and a half. Where this one, it's like, this should have just been in the hospital. I kind of thought. I was like, the fact that we then go, like, none of the decisions made by Maya make any sense whatsoever.
No, she's so frustrating as a character.
This is the same thing I said with chapter 1, was like, I've said a million times, huge Riverdale guy here. Madeline Pesh is like, she's my favorite person from Riverdale. I was so excited that she was
Cheryl Blossom.
Cheryl Blossom, absolutely love her. And it's kind of sad because it's not like I hate her in these. I think she's doing the best she can really do. It's just the fact that the guys writing this is the only horror they've ever written. The only other movie they wrote was that Due Date movie with Zach Galifianakis and Robert Downing Jr. that was like a forgettable came out and left movie in the early 2000s. And it's just like, she's got nothing to work with here. And it's really a shame because I think with something right, I'm like, she would be I could see her being like the next Samara Weaving or like a real iconic scream queen. And she seems like, everything I've seen in interview-wise, like, she seems to be a fan of the genre, but there's just, like, nothing to work with here.
No, I agree. She's working with crumbs, and she's kind of the best part of this movie. It's just the decisions she makes are so frustrating, and I don't know, a lot of it is kind of hard to watch because it's the same thing kind of over and over, very repetitive. I totally agree with the Halloween 2 comparison. And also, one thing they did during this movie too that really ticked me off was they like put up a statistic about the amount of people who are murdered by strangers every year, and it's like a staggering number. And then they just go on to do the complete opposite, like you said, and totally tell us who these people are and why they're doing this. Well, not even why they're doing it, just showing like why they're like psychotic, I guess. And I don't know, it doesn't really seem like a good motive. I know it's probably that's going with what it needs to go with to be Stranger Things. Like, there isn't a good motive, but it also needs to be anonymous. Like, I don't want to know who these people are at all. And like you said, it's very predictable. Like, I thought too they would be red herrings, like the people in the town who are off, but they're absolutely like who you expect them to be. And that's weird in a horror movie.
Like I said, it just kind of takes the fun out of it to me. The only way I see like things like that ever work is like you kind of tip it off right at the beginning and then you're kind of in on the joke that no one else is in on. But the problem is they try to do that where she's not in on who it is, but there's so many signs, like, and I shouldn't even say that because she knows, like, she's wary when she's around these people. It's like, oh, just a coinkydink. This guy's got, one of the masks tattooed on his neck. Like, it's just, yeah, like, the ideas from it are just so brain dead stupid that I just don't understand the writing whatsoever in this at all.
I read a quote the other day. I don't know if it was talking about this movie. It might have been, but it was to the tune of, this director has never even watched a horror movie before. and they decided to do this. Was it this one, or is it something else?
I don't know. I mean, it sounds like it could have. I mean, like I said, the sad thing with Rennie Harlin is, like, you know, Rennie Harlin's heydays haven't been since like the 90s. As I said, he really is just kind of a director for hire because, you know, it's competent. It looks like a studio movie. There's nothing necessarily original. I don't think he's going out of his way to like create a style for these to look like. And, you know, there's some scenes where I'm like, you can kind of, you know, they're trying to do something, like there's some stuff with lighting in the hospital where you're like, all right, they're trying to like seep some sort of atmosphere in here. Mm-hmm. But it always just seems like the cheapest possible imitation of something else. And even stuff like the town, like, as I said, I don't like where they're going with the town and the town's people. But if you're going to do that, like, give it, like, some sort of unique feeling of this town. Or, you know, even if you're going to go tropey, just, like, really go into it. But, like, nothing stands out at all in this. And that is kind of really the issue, is scene after scene you're watching this and it's just kind of like, okay. And then, like, you know, 20 minutes later, I'm kind of like, what? I don't even remember what happened 20 minutes beforehand because I didn't care, and it didn't seem like any of it mattered. And I think that really comes to how this is set up into 3 movies, where to me this was a script that obviously, if they wanted to go in a different direction than the original, this should have been compressed into one script, trimmed down into a movie, and it should be just one movie with those twists in it, and not spread out over 3 movies. Like, to me, this is everything wrong when people are like, everything has to be a franchise, like, just milk IP for whatever it's worth. This is the worst example of that.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Like, this doesn't need to be 3 movies. They could have cut a lot of this down into one, like, kind of competent movie, I believe. And that's kind of the issue with it, too, is, like, it's such little content extended through this whole franchise. And it kind of reminds me of something I heard you say, I think a couple weeks ago, that this is a horror movie for people who don't like horror movies. Like, it's very palatable for people who just want to go to the theater during spooky season and just, you know, see a slasher. Like, very low stakes.
Yeah, well, and I mean, it's exactly kind of like you said. This, to me, this is like a company that's like, we're gonna make whatever we're gonna make on the streaming end for this. Like, this is gonna be a movie that 12 and 13-year-olds are gonna like stream when they're watching their first horror movies, and they're just on, you know, I don't even know who streams this, Paramount or whoever, wherever it is, Prime, whatever. And it's like, to me, that's kind of maybe the target demographic for it, but I don't know if it even works for that. I was going to say, I mean, obviously we didn't expect this to be a super long conversation for this. Why don't we just say if we recommend it, and then we can get to the spoiler section so we can talk about the real egregious parts.
Ooh.
So would you, I was going to say, would you recommend people go see this in the theater? I think this is starting to already come on streaming or VOD, but I know my theater is still playing this. So someone must be going to it. But would you recommend it?
Yeah, no. Maybe I would recommend it on streaming. Like, if you just want to throw on a slasher, if you don't really care, or if you want to put on a movie for someone who really isn't into horror and doesn't really care too much about it, maybe. But the fact that this is called The Strangers and is based on, you know, the original, it goes in a very different direction, and it's not strangery at all. Like, you know everybody, and you get backstories that are not needed. So it just feels kind of unnecessary. Just make a different slasher, you know, and just, you know, it's just dumb. I will say that, what's her name? Is it Madeline Petch?
Pesh. Yeah, I feel like I say it different every time.
Okay. Well, she was really good in this. Like I said earlier, she was a highlight. I think there were some cool shots, like point of view, where you're kind of put in the background and you see the killer and you see her running. I thought that was kind of cool, like those kind of perspectives. But yeah, everything else just seemed kind of like, I don't know, derivative. So yeah, I don't really recommend watching it. What about you?
Yeah, I don't even know who I would write, because even, people that we're talking about that's like, oh, I don't really like horror, but like, let's put this on streaming. I feel like there's better things you can put on that, like, to me, I'd probably even bad ones. Like, I'm thinking like, our constant joke of Night Swim and stuff, like bad Blumhouse. Like, at least these are like original ideas and stuff like that. Like, this is just, I can't see be very good. Now, I will say, for our annual or our regular episode of Theater Talk, when I was in this, it was just me and two other girls that were like university, maybe high school age, and they were scared to death. They screamed so much, and they had a time.
Really?
And when they came out, I heard them talking, and they were talking about how good it was, and like how they really liked it. I'm kind of thinking maybe they've never seen the original or something. But this is where I'm like, I feel like this is that audience. It's like a younger audience that maybe is not really horror primed, and I just feel bad that this is going to be somebody's like first horror movie. So yeah, two not strong recommend. So with that, why don't we cut on over to the spoiler section? So we are now in the spoiler section. So if you haven't seen The Strangers Chapter 2 and you don't want it spoiled, stop the episode, go watch the movie, come back and listen. Or just keep listening if you simply don't care. I feel like you have to start this section by talking about giant boars.
Yep.
I was a little excited for this scene when I first realized what was going on here.
For how long were you excited?
Well, pretty much until I saw the boar. When I realized they let loose the boar, I was like, oh shit, this boar, like something's coming. And I was like, this might actually be fun. They're like, and it was basically because I was bored. I was like, okay, this is going to be
bored?
Like, oh. And then, we get like a terrible CGI boar that is so like, it looks like it's from like 15 years ago. It's horrendous.
Yeah. They're trying to do the Revenant or something.
Yeah.
With this fucking boar. I actually thought it was a horse when you hear it like thundering, because you see like the farm with the horses, right? Yeah, it's like, oh, someone's riding a horse. Nah, man, it's a fucking boar.
But it's part of the randomness of this movie. Like, it has nothing, we have no idea why they just have this like boar that, I don't know, it seems like they must be abusing it or something, because it's like this vicious, violent boar that's just hungry for human flesh. I'm just like, okay, I guess. How much weirder can this movie get? And like I said, we get the whole stuff with the boar and the chase and the car and stuff, but it looks like shit. So
just don't have it.
Yeah, and then, the boar basically, like, injures her more. I will say, like, the series is just really loving hurting Maya. It's this real teardown of how much torture she can go through, which I know, Rennie Harlan said the whole idea of this trilogy was going to be basically, like, when you go through a traumatic experience, like the first one, like, how do you process that and deal with grief and anger and revenge. And when he explained it, he thought this was like a very novel concept, as if not almost every horror movie deals with this, except not in 3 movies,
and also more effectively.
But I mean, so the boar, not a hit with you?
No, because like you said, it looked like shit. It was kind of comical, because I was thinking back to Cocaine Bear, and I was like, I love Cocaine Bear, and this is awful. There's no reason to have this. Like, they do the tying into, the killer having the baby boars, and she turns into a monster. So I guess this is her boar monster. But yeah, it kind of is just like out of left field and doesn't look good.
Yeah, well, and I'm glad that you tied that in there, because that's kind of where I wanted to go. Like, these scenes that they keep cutting to, and they do it in the most boring, telltale way, where you're looking at the girl, so there's no wonderment of who this girl is.
Yeah.
Because it's like, let's look at the character as an adult. She's staring off into the distance, and then we go to scenes of her childhood.
Mm-hmm.
And this, I will say, to me, this was the most effective part of the movie. Like, I thought the childhood stuff was kind of cool, just because, like, obviously, like a child committing like a horrific act of violence like that and being okay with it. I even was okay with like the guy kind of like them having this connection, and I was like, this is kind of cool. Do I want in this movie? No, because I still don't want to know anything about these people.
Exactly.
And it totally takes it out of it. But I mean, it's just stop telling me about these people. And like, obviously when you see this stuff, you're like, okay, well now obviously the town's in it on it because the town knows that they murdered this kid and they're not in jail. They're not they're just around with the townspeople. I love Richard Brack. I like icon. Shout out Barbarian. We love Barbarian. But like, his character in this as the cop is just so like, I was like, yeah, we get it, man. He's weird. The town's weird. He's covering stuff up. And they even try to do this lame attempt at like, oh, maybe he's covering it up because he doesn't want to lose his job, but then he'll just say something immediately after that you're like, oh no, he's in on it.
Yeah, and that also goes against the whole concept of them being strangers. If the entire town is in on it, everybody knows about it, it's not the strangers anymore.
And they also ruin the iconic line in this yet again, because they talk about like, oh, well, you were just home, but it's like, oh, except now she's having the discussion with the actual guy that's not wearing a mask and all this stuff. And I guess if you didn't get the idea in the spoiler-free section that, yes, the guy with the tattoo is the Scarecrow guy that has the Scarecrow tattooed on it.
Shocker.
You know what? My real issue, I think, with this whole thing is, as a mask guy, I actually really like the masks in this. Like, obviously, these 3 masks are from the original, and, like, I think the burlap sack is effective. I like the pinup doll mask. Like, I like Dollface. I like these as masks and, keep them terrifying. I don't want to know about it. I'm going to predict already that we're going to find out in the 3rd one because they've already discussed religion in this, that there's some sort of like cult or religion thing going on.
Halloween. We're going into more Halloween with the cult.
Yeah, which didn't work out for Halloween when they did it, so I don't know why they think they're going to do it better, but I already know. I'm like, here we go. We're going to find out, like, people take up the mantle, and, so probably there's 8 million scarecrows. There's 8 million... other pinup girl, and like, I was like, this is what's gonna happen. We're just gonna find out that it's like people do it or, whatever. I just think it's so cheap. It just cheapens it so much.
That would suck. I hope you're not right.
I mean, I hope I'm not either, but, and for stuff I liked, I mean, it was stuff we kind of already talked about. Like, I did like some of the shots in the hospital. I liked the hospital chase stuff. To me, that's when this is kind of working, because it's working as not anything, new and inventive, but it's working as like a very prototypical slasher, and, there's nothing wrong with that. And I like that. I like this cat and mouse chase in the hospital, and that, to me, that's fun. They got the masks on, it's like frightening. I don't know if it's frightening, but for the average Joe, I'm sure it may be. But like, to me, I thought that's really where this worked. It's when she leaves and we're expanding it farther and farther. Why we end up in the cabin from the first one, I have no idea. It's like, she would never go here in a million years. Like, there's no way she's going back to this cabin and hanging out there.
Yeah, it's so irritating because she always makes the worst decisions, and it's going to catch up to her because that's what it keeps doing over and over. She makes a stupid decision. Girl, why are you lighting a fucking fire in the woods? Okay,
yes.
Like, I know you're cold, but like, the fuck, they're gonna find you with the smoke.
Oh, 100%. And like, she all of a sudden like becomes this like survivalist where like she's like sewing herself up. She's got so many injuries that like there's no way she's running through these woods. Like, she's jumping out of cars, boars are eating her leg, like
her leg's all mangled, dude, like just like broken in the wrong direction or something. She's like thumping along. It's like, how are you even supposed to, I don't know, like run? Like, that's not believable at all if you can't even like walk. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not at all. Another one I had written down was kind of the scene where she is at the cabin and like we see him to get the rescue. Obviously, it's like a false flag rescue because they're surrounding the truck. I didn't hate that. This is like a Strangers staple. They did it in chapter 1. They do it in the original where you always think they're escaping from the driveway with the car. And as we know from every slasher movie ever, that's not going to work. But to me, this is fine. They're just trying to hit the beats. But I don't know. I don't think these guys are hiding that good in plain day. It was just day out. And I was like, okay, this isn't probably gonna happen. Did you have any other stuff for the spoiler-free section? I mean, we're ranting there, and you're probably saying to yourself, listen to this, they talked about 3 scenes, and it's those are the 3 scenes. The only beat we didn't really hit was she does manage to kill one of the strangers, so I guess that's gonna be a unique thing in this series, is we're gonna see what happens, when you kill one of them, and obviously there's a relationship because it is the girl that we see as the kid, and all this stuff, and we're going to see that. Now, my real question to you is, did you stay the extra 40 seconds to see them play the trailer for chapter 3? This is when they're really desperate, is they do a mid-credit trailer drop where it is a full 2-minute trailer for chapter 3, and this might look worse than the first 2. It does not look like we're in for a good time with chapter 3.
I am so shocked. I can barely contain myself. No, I didn't stick around though because I had to pee really badly, and I even realized there was going to be a drop, but everyone else, the fucking 6 other people in the theater stayed. I was like, I have to pee so bad. I didn't want to get up and miss anything. Although I'm sure I would have been fine.
Yeah,
but
you would have been absolutely fine. Because I'm going to assume, by the looks of it, it looked to me just like it's probably a trailer that they're going to put out at some point. It was a full trailer, and it's just the strangers will return for chapter 3. And it just it was cut ridiculous. It was super hype, and it's just there's no way it's going to be this hype because the first 2 of these was not hype. They both suck. So stop giving us false hope.
Yeah.
Well, with that, why don't we land the plane and we'll go into rating this. So our rating system is nay, okay, yay, or slay. Jill, what would you give Strangers Chapter 2?
So I feel like we've been dumping on this pretty much the whole episode so far. And I hate to do that, but sometimes it's deserved. And in this case, it's deserved. If I can't think of more good things than I can think of bad things, then it's going to be a nay. So yeah, it just wasn't a good story. It goes back on what the whole concept of these movies is supposed to be. And yeah, it just dragged on and just was kind of the same thing over and over for however long it was. So it's a nay for me. What about yourself?
Yeah, I mean, surprise, surprise. We're going to give this a double nay, just like the chapter 1 got. I just wasn't a fan. The stuff I did like, there wasn't enough of it. It just was not good. The runtime for this is way too long. Yeah, it's just forgettable. There's really nothing to say about this. It's not good. It's a complete and utter nay. So 2 nays. And with that, we are going to invite Mike, flip over, and we're going to talk about Vicious. And now I am joined by my baby doll, Mike,
it's me. I'm your baby doll.
To discuss Vicious, which was released October 10th, 2025, directly to Paramount Plus. So before we start off...
Boo, Paramount Plus, boo. Oops.
Mike, were you familiar? Had you heard about this movie? What's your relationship with Brian Bertino or, that kind of thing? How are your feelings around this when it was coming out?
Okay, so my relationship with him is I've seen, I think, 2 of his movies before this. Obviously, The Strangers being one of them. And my relationship to this movie is that you texted me and asked me if I would come on and told me what it was, and I looked it up on Letterboxd, and that was the first time I knew that it existed. So, yeah, my relationship with this movie was non-existent. I had unlike, in pulling back the curtain, this is the second, we're doing a double recording tonight.
Yeah.
And the other one that we just recorded on, I was hyped about for a couple of months. This I literally did not know existed. So
yeah, I was gonna say you're known to say some discouraging words of Brian Bertino movies. So
I have definitely done that. I think people were wanting to fight me. I woke up today. I went to sleep early last night, and I woke up to numerous fighting words from people on the internet. So
yeah, and I didn't know what this was about or anything. I think when me and Colton did kind of our movies that are coming out this year at the beginning of the year, this was like rumored that Brian Bertino was working on a new film. I was pretty excited. Unlike you, I am a pretty big fan. I really enjoy The Strangers. His movie for Shudder, The Dark and the Wicked, I think is one of the best Shudder originals they've ever done. I know Colton's I think a pretty big fan of that one also. That one actually really scared me when I watched it late one night. So I was always curious in Dakota Fanning. I'm a fan of Dakota Fanning.
Yeah, same.
So I was like, why not? I know this was supposed to go to the theater. It didn't. They moved it to streaming. So that's never a good sign. So I was a little worried about that. But with that, do we want to put Vicious inside of a box and lock it? Let's go to the trailer, and then we'll be back with the synopsis and our spoiler-free thoughts.
Can I help you? I don't know where Ma'am, do you want to come in? Get out of the cold? I'm sorry. It's so late.
Do you have your phone? I can call for you.
This house. I'm gonna start.
What?
This will be for you now. You are going to die tonight.
What are you talking about?
Unless you give it what it wants.
Yes, she just got here.
What?
Look what you made me do. Is that really something you hate?
I love you.
Vicious is directed by Brian Bertino and also written by Brian Bertino, and the synopsis is as follows. When Polly receives a mysterious box, it comes with one rule. Place inside something she needs, something she hates, and something she loves. If she doesn't obey, it will consume everything and everyone she's ever known. So, here on Now Slaying, we like to start with the spoiler-free section first. Mike, what were some of your initial spoiler-free thoughts on what sounds is going to be a slay from you?
Spoiler-free thoughts. Good question, Rowan. My thoughts on this are probably mostly spoilery because I feel like I spent the whole hour and a half that I was watching this comparing it to other things. Spoiler-free thoughts. Okay, listen. Dakota Fanning, I'm always glad to see on film. Dakota Fanning, I love Rachel Blanchard. Rachel Blanchard does not get enough screen time, of course, because she's barely in it. I don't even know if they're actually in a scene together. I'm trying to remember now. I feel like they talk on the phone a lot, and the camera
I think they're
cuts between
in
them.
scenes once, maybe.
Yeah, and I feel like even then, it's like the camera's using trickery to make you feel like they're together and they're not. So I will say I really enjoyed the aesthetic of her house. Spoiler free, a lot of the movie is in her house, and while it was no, house from Deep Red or anything, I liked it. It was a cute, cozy house.
Apparently, Catherine Hunter just resigned to playing creepy old ladies in horror movies now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, this is coming off the heels of, what was that? The Front Room with Brandy.
Oh, the movie with Brandy. Yes, that's right. I still haven't seen it.
Yeah, where, also playing kind of like a villainous old lady. Very, very similar. Yeah, I mean, I thought Dakota Fanning in this was actually really good. I thought I think many issues as I had with the overall story and stuff, and some of the sloppiness of it. I thought she did a really good job. I like Dakota Fanning, and like I'd like to see her in more horror stuff. Actually, I thought she's not given a lot to do in this, and a lot of the stuff is very like she's got to portray it very subtly. And I thought she did a pretty good job of that. Catherine Hunter, I mean, was fine. She's not in it very long. You could really just use any kind of random old lady for this. So I had the feelings on this, as you were very disparaging about it. My feelings on this were, I kind of think this should have went to the theater. As I was watching this,
wasn't it supposed to?
It was, and then they said no, this is going straight to streaming.
Yeah,
which, like I said, to me I'm like, oh no, like Salem's Lot, Apartment 7A, like these movies that have come out that get that death blow. But to me, I was just kind of thinking like, a general audience, I feel, would be into this. I don't know if this is, like, scary for a seasoned horror person, but I was like, I can see this being, like, a teenager movie, like, teens going out to the theater. I thought...
For their first horror movie, maybe.
You know what it is? It's because when I was watching this, I really thought, I was like, this gives off 2000s aesthetic super hard. This reminded me of something that would come out in the early 2000s.
Like Saw 3 or something.
Yeah, like, it just, like, really, though, like, something like that, where it's, like, kind of this haunt, kind of, there's, like, some scary jump scares in it, and that kind of thing. I will say that, Bertino obviously, I will say, has a killer choice of music. This is kind of, the iconic Strangers thing was like he always has the same one old song playing.
Yeah.
You're rolling your eyes, but no love for the Mamas and the Papas, or?
No, okay, see, here's the thing. I already repressed the memory that song played like 8 times in this movie. I was thinking of the score, which I made a note about immediately, that I hated. So yes, the actual licensed music is done well. You're right.
Yeah, the score is not great in this. Like the
score, I thought was awful, like ambient droning, and not like good ambient droning.
I kind of wonder if that is a case where like this movie where they know it's getting the death blow to streaming, so it's like we don't give it to someone that we're gonna give it to originally for a score, like we give it to someone that can just kind of do a whatever job to it.
They went on royalty-free music for streaming.com and just found about 25 minutes worth of music and just looped it.
Terrible. Anyway, I thought the Mom and Papa song, I thought was kind of cool. Like I said, this is really like his signature theme where it plays over and over again. And it, it had that like baby doll theme in it. Obviously, that's like something in this. I will say this could have greatly been improved, like a 20 minutes cut from it. This was a little too long.
Absolutely.
I think if this was like 115, 120, this probably could have been a banger. Like this would have been like very, very well done. I just think you could tell in parts of this that they were stretched so thin of like, we're trying to fill up time here. Scenes go on for way too long than they need to.
100%. Yeah. It felt like it was like at least 2 hours and 5 minutes.
Yeah. The length did feel pretty long. The only other spoiler-free thing I had written was I thought the movie was loud. It was loud as shit. Like everything is, the footsteps are loud, and I get they're trying to create.
But it's because it's so quiet. It's a quiet movie, but when there's noise, it's loud.
Yeah, I just felt like the mixing was off or something. Like I don't mind the vibrations of phones, like the things they're trying to set up as almost scares being loud, but it was like just normal stuff like her walking on these wood floors. I'm like, it just sounds like someone banging with boots on, and it's just like I thought that was really like off-putting to I had headphones on when I was watching it, so
gotcha.
It was like extra loud for me. So would you recommend this? It's sounding like you're telling people to rush out, get Paramount Plus and subscribe right away.
So first of all, fuck Paramount Plus. And second of all, I would literally never advise anybody to watch this movie. I can't in good faith tell anybody, maybe if you're like a Dakota super stan. Yeah. Because she is in this and she like carries the movie, because I think she's in every single scene except for maybe like 10 seconds at the end. So yeah, I would not recommend this. Not streaming, not going to see it in a theater, not if you're having, you know, a like couple of drinks and like hitting the pen with your friends. Like, don't put it on in the background at a party. Do not put it on if you're doing chores. Yeah, it's a big not recommend from me. I'm waiting to hear you just say you want to fucking buy 80 copies of it on 4K and VHS and DVD and 35 millimeter.
I would. I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good. Like I said, it really had this 2000s aesthetic that I just kind of I vibed with.
Oh, you're such a sucker for that. Oh my God,
I know.
bro.
It's that early 2000s. I kind of liked it. And it kind of reminded me of something I would have rented just like to test it out. I don't know why, but I'm thinking about like, you remember those movies like, I think there was one called like Case 39. There's like the Skeleton Key, like, I don't know, the Repeat. Like it was like just stuff you'd rent from that was like kind of like low key, like just rental bangers. And
Listen, you leave Skeleton Key starring Kate Hudson out of this. That is like fucking Fellini compared to this, okay? Catherine Hudson did not fucking work her way through that fucking voodoo horror movie for you to ruin her good name. That's all I'm saying.
So yeah, I mean, I would give it a recommend. I enjoyed it. So a totally not recommend and a recommend. We're on polar opposites of this.
I love this.
I love it too. So with that, let's cut on over to the spoiler section. So we're now in the spoiler section. If you haven't seen Vicious and you don't want it spoiled, stop, go see the movie, come back and listen. But you can just keep listening if you're like Mike and you really don't care and you trust his word. Don't trust his word. Don't do it. Mike, we're in the spoiler section. I'm curious. Well, here, let me start with this. Some of the jump scares worked on me. A little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, that's because you were wearing headphones.
Yeah, I think maybe it's maybe you needed headphones on. Like, there were some jump scares that were pretty effective that I was like, okay. And it was like stupid shit. Like, I found the jump scares that worked were stuff like the cell phones or stuff like that. Like, the actual kind of like, you know, ghouls or whatever. Like, I don't even know what they were. Like demons or something.
Yeah, I don't know either, and I don't care.
They didn't look good. They absolutely looked terrible. They looked 2000s, which I think is part of the charm for me.
Of course it is. Of course.
Yeah. Like I was just like, this is kind of like, it's not good, but that kind of makes it good. It's just got like, all this really needed was like some blue filter over it. And like,
I honestly, that would have fucking bumped it up like 3 notches to me.
Yeah. Then it would be ready for a double feature.
They didn't do anything aesthetic to it. Nothing. There's no aesthetic. Nothing.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because I was really watching this thinking about like what's kind of Bertino's thing, like, and obviously isolation is like a big fear.
Ooh, there's someone in the house with you. That's his thing. Like,
obviously, like The Strangers, Empty House, this Empty House, The Dark and the Wicked is a possession movie, but it's like on a farm that's like cut off from everyone. It's like very rural, which to me are, you know, like I love home invasions. I don't know if isolation is necessarily a scary thing for me, but I could see this being scary to some people. I was going to say the plot line, very influence or similar to the classic The Box story.
Yes, I see. And I wrote that like 5 times. I was like, The Box, the movie
with Cameron Diaz
was after the first half hour completely atrocious, and they somehow ripped it off and made it even worse. Because the last half hour of that movie just goes off the rails to the point where it's like almost campy, whereas this, it's like, oh, we're just going to take the basic setup and sort of like literally do nothing with it.
Yeah, well, the one thing I didn't like is I thought everything was pretty, like, you knew where it was going pretty much straight away. Like, when they give you the rules of whatever it is, like something you need, something you love, like something you want, something you love, you're like, okay. I knew right away. I'm like, she's going to like give it something easy. It's going to say no.
Yes, it was all telegraphed. Yeah. Like every single, and I'm not calling them twist of the plot, but every movement of the plot, like, at least a half hour before, I literally said, this is what's going to happen. And then it happened. And then I was like, oh, but it's going to be this. And then it happened because it was just like all there. That's the worst thing. When you have a really spare story like this, like you got to make sure that like you have punched that script up like 8 times because like you got to give us something here to like some meat to chew on. There's nothing there. It's just like bone, right? Like I can see the bones connecting to each other. It's like I can just see all the connective tissue.
You can see
and it was
the pinky toe bone just there.
And I knew. And by the way, remember that movie that I watched, The Sacrifice, that I talked about in the last episode?
Yes.
This literally was like it had moments taken right out of that movie. I was like, Jesus Christ! How many times am I gonna have to watch people sacrifice a finger or like a toe in 2025? Like, there's still
my
3
next
months
pick will
left.
just be The Box, Cameron Diaz, and we'll just see how many of these
I'd
we can
respect
make you
that.
watch. I mean, yeah, I agree somewhat. Now, I did like the fact that, you know, these are demons or whatever, so I do like the fact that they...
Are they?
Well, I don't know what they are, really.
We don't know what they are because they don't tell us anything.
But see, I'm the one that's always complaining. Don't tell me. I don't want to know. But yes, I agree. Maybe if we knew a little bit of what's going on. But I liked that they were tricky. So like they make her cut off her toe. They play the videos. I did love the analogness of like the television going on. And
you liked that TV is the thing.
Love that
Rowan.
TV. But like
you loved that TV that had the fucking flat screen on top of it. I know you love that aesthetic. I know that you would have that in your house in a heartbeat.
I did really like it, but like I like the video, you know, switching and the kids scream and there's blood all over the kid, but I like breaking the rules of them being tricky, of them being like, oh, you got to cut off your toe, and then when they cut off the toe, like, just kidding. And like, because to me, I'm like, all right, well, these like, it makes it a little more sinister that it's like, these guys are going to make you work. You're cutting off more than a toe.
I mean, yeah.
But those are the things I like. Like, the stuff I really didn't like in this was the mom walks through the house and then, like, you know, the dad that died of cancer, like, coming out of the closet slowly, like the hand coming by her. Like, to me, this stuff didn't work because it was way overshot. Like, it was too long. The dad thing they played out great. Do your dad jump scare. But then they do, like, 5 other dad jump scares right after. And it's like, well, this loses after the first time. It kind of loses the punch of it, and it's just there were so many scenes that I was like, I like what the scene is doing, but could we have pared this down from 3 or 4 minutes to like 1 minute or less? And there was just a lot of that. And there was a lot of times that I get, you know, especially like I think about something like he did like The Strangers, where The Strangers is like, I know you don't like it, but people that like The Strangers, like the brutality of it and like you're living in the brutality, this nonsensical, you know, people are suffering on screen. And it was stuff where like she'd be crying or upset or coming to a realization where I thought Dakota Fanning did a great job. But then I watched 2 more minutes of like, okay, well, I already get why she's upset, why she's crying, what she's trying to portray to me. But they just overshoot all the scenes to where I'm like, okay, can we get to the next scene now? Like, let's, you know, get this going. And I also felt this kind of fell apart further on as we, especially when we get to the realization that we need to pass the box on. I just kind of felt that it was like, oh shit, our movie's already an hour and a half long.
Yeah.
And we still got to do all that. And it just seemed like they rushed the total end of this, where I think if it was trimmed down more, they could have made that final crescendo more impactful.
No, for sure. I also found the crescendo to be unimpactful. But look, here's the thing. Okay, so I'm just going to say this now. I'm about to almost turn into Colton for a moment. But like, this movie hinges on this box and a game, I guess you want to call it, that you're playing. But they don't actually give you rules. She gave her 3 instructions.
Yeah.
There's no rules. What are, like, I'm not even saying I want to know what it is or where it came from, because I don't even care about that. But I'm like, what are the consequences? As far as I can tell, she just says, you're going to die. It doesn't even say, if you don't do this. She just says, put these things in there.
Yeah.
And she just kind of goes, okay, like, but there are no rules. Like what are the rules? Like, the only way, like, when you're saying they're lying and stuff for breaking the rules or bending them or whatever, like there are no rules. Like there's no boundary set up of like what is going to happen. Like if it was me, I would just be like, if I kind of came to the realization that like, are they going to do something to your family? Like there was nothing saying you and your family are all going to die. It was like, you're going to die tonight. And I'm like, okay, cool. Well, I guess I won't just do this stuff and I'll die, and then the movie will be over. And frankly, she seems like miserable and like hating her life anyway. So I was kind of expecting that that's where it was going to go, and it didn't.
Yeah, I won't lie. I really suspected as I was trying to figure out what was going on. I had kind of thought, I was like, oh, did she maybe like commit suicide or something? And like, this is like,
and this is like her limbo.
Yeah, which obviously wasn't.
No, it's not that interesting.
You're kind of making me come to your side a bit, because I will agree the issue with the rules not being more rules, a more explanation to the box, which I just argued with you about. Now you've brought me back over. It's like, it would have been nice to know, like, where is this stuff going? Like, where is this box hell? Is this like, you know, what is going on? Why is this box important? And my issue mainly with not the finale, but our main character's finale is, we already saw the old woman attack her and basically say, it doesn't matter. I gave you the box. The box wasn't done with me. The box is never done with you. That's like the sick game of the box. But it seems like when she passes the box on, it's done. It's all fine for her. And I'm like, well, that doesn't make any sense at all. I did really like the final scene. Like, I did really like her going back in, being like, I don't know who you are, and then she's murdered her parents. And
and I will say, like, that was a minorly effective moment, but I felt like they telegraphed that, like, there's nothing going on, so I knew that this was, I didn't know, like, it's going to show her parents, like, on the table or whatever, but, like, you know. And to me, it's like, okay, so shouldn't this box want different things from different people based on their circumstances? Like, why is she just sitting there with her fingers cut off too? Like, it's just, why didn't she just come in and say, cut your finger off? Like, why didn't the lady just say that? You know what I mean? And it's like,
it did a sloppy job.
There's no rules. There's no boundaries. It doesn't say if you don't cut your finger off, everyone you love is going to die.
Is she a painter? Is that, I didn't really.
Yes, and that's the thing. And like, literally immediately, as soon as it was like, you know, something that you need, I was like, they showed her paintings like 80 times. Like, she's obviously going to have to cut her fingers off or her hand or something like that. Like, I was like, oh, cool, it'll go like Evil Dead or whatever. But I don't know.
Did you feel like she cut her toe off too quickly? I thought it didn't
100%.
take a lot of convincing for her to cut the toe off.
I was like, you don't need a toe. You can like have all your toes cut off and still be fine. Like, obviously they want you to cut your hand off because you're a fucking artist.
Mike, for the right price, will cut off all his toes for you.
Listen,
that'll be on the
DM me about toe prices. But
that's a whole different kind of foot content for you.
Different kind of toe prices. No, but like, it annoyed me like to no end. Also because like, okay, so there was whiffs of so many other movies like The Box and, you know, even The Stranger, obviously The Strangers, you know, there was like essence of that.
They use a line almost exactly like The Strangers where she's talking about basically why are you doing this, because you're home. I forget what it was. It was like it was like because you answered the door, essentially.
Yes. Yeah. But then later on she says, oh, it like chose us because we're broken.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, except that she clearly chose that girl because she's the only person that answered her door. So it's not choosing you because you're broken. It's random because you just happen to answer your door. You know what I mean? And again, I don't want to be turning into Colton and like turning everything into like a logic Olympic, but literally it's just none of it makes sense. And it's like, I'm going to say it looked like ChatGPT wrote this screenplay. Or he literally banged it out and did one draft an hour before it had to be handed in and didn't even look it over once. Because, like, okay, she handed it on. She didn't do the third thing. What did she put in there that she loves?
Hair.
And maybe
which I didn't really. Yeah, I don't really.
No, none of that made sense.
I don't really understand the hair thing.
Because the other things looked like it was like you had to sacrifice something. Like, wasn't that the whole purpose of it? Like, to push you and to sacrifice. She didn't say, she cut off some of her niece's hair. Oh my God, big deal. Like, watch out now. Like, was her hair her prized possession? You know, was she like growing it back from like having cancer or something? Like, just give me something. Like, why do I care about that? I don't. you know? It's not like this is like some giallo where it's like super stylish and like there's just nothing for me to hold on to. She just didn't do the third thing and then handed it off and was like, okay, anyway, done, goodbye.
Yeah, I didn't really get the hair thing because in like she cuts the hair and then the kid like screams and it also sounds like a demon screaming and I didn't really get that. I thought she was gonna have to actually like sacrifice the kid or something and then you would, and then I was like, okay, she'll like kill the kid, but then it won't really be the kid. It's just like she made the act or something and
and dropping the cross in like, oh my god, oh you hate God, like big fucking deal. Like, why do I care? I literally, do you want to know what it was? So this is what I was just getting at a minute ago. So the whiff that I got is of Prey, and the phone exchanges with her mother made it seem like the mother was like kind of really controlling and stuff. And that's Prey does that really well. It had these like phone calls with her mother where you don't even hear the other end and you get like so much of the anguish of their relationship.
Yeah.
And I thought that like, ooh, maybe they'll have it like the thing you hate or whatever. And it's like, she has to kill her mother because she hates her mother.
Yeah.
And it didn't even go there. I was just like, oh my God, you dropped your cross in there. Like, oh my God, there was just no consequences. Like, I don't care about your pinky.
I am a sucker
it was just
for
nothing. It was nothing.
Calling you on the phone, though. I don't know why. I'm just a sucker for that, where they pretend to be other people. I know. It's tropey, but I love it.
It's the Scream lover in you.
It must be. Well, with that, are you good to go to rating this?
Yeah.
So if you're new to the podcast, our rating system is nay, okay, yay, or slay. Mike, what would you give Vicious?
So Vicious was more like atrocious. I fear. I'm giving it a nay. One of the first nays I've done in a very long time. I was excited by the premise, even though the premise did sound a lot like some other movies and like short stories and TV episodes. And I love Dakota. I think she's phenomenal. She does do a really good job in this movie, but there's nothing. I was not even being sarcastic when I said I think that this was a ChatGPT script. Like, if you told me that an AI wrote this, I would like not even bat an eyelash. I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense. If you said make it like The Strangers and The Box and Trilogy of Terror, like boom, you'd get this. It was just like a nothing burger to me. And you alluded to, spoiler alert, anybody that doesn't know me, I am not a fan of The Strangers. When I saw it in theaters, by the way, I saw it opening week in theaters, so I'm not like a hater. I was there opening weekend, which most people weren't. I was very excited for that movie, and I just thought it was like so mid and so nothing. And this is also just, there's nothing happening in this. It annoyed me the whole movie that I did not know what the rules were, what the consequences were. I didn't care what this thing was by halfway through the movie. I was just like, please just stay in all night and just die. You know what I mean? Like, I get it's trying to allude to the fact that like, oh, you're going to have to do something to like your niece or whatever, or other people. Like, don't put this on other people. Just stay home and die. Like, it's just, I was like, why won't you do that? The whole time I was just like, end the movie, let her just die and move on. And that's like just the worst possible recommendation I could give. Dakota Fanning couldn't even make me care about her character being alive. So yeah, total nay. I did not care for it at all. This ChatGPT script. I know you literally get in a fight with me. I need to hear this.
I said I'm on the opposite of you, but I'm not like that far away. This isn't The Shining. This isn't The Thing. Like, I'm not saying this is a masterpiece at all. I think I just kind of let myself go, and I kind of enjoyed it, and I had a good time. I refuse to apologize for having a good time.
Don't apologize ever.
I'm only coming in with an okay. Like, I had an okay time. It was kind of like my recommend, right? Like, I think you could do worse. I've seen worse. I'm on the opposite spectrum of you. Like, I like Bertino's stuff. So maybe he just, he's got that something that to me is worthwhile. Maybe not for you. That's all right. Not everybody can be correct.
It's true. Some people like nothing burgers and some people don't. So there we have it.
So nay and okay. So basically we just flip-flopped from our previous recording of him. Nay and an okay. I think that'll put it around where it probably deserves to be for a direct-to-streaming movie. And if you're not doing so, follow us on any social media at It Slays Podcast. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Slasher, Tumblr, Bluesky, Letterboxd, TikTok, YouTube. Oh my God, there's so many I can never remember the list of all the social medias. It's wild. I'm sure there's more coming out every day that will be on, and I don't even know. And if you're interested in supporting the podcast and becoming a horror hound, you can do so by going to patreon.com/itslayspodcast and join the likes of Holly, Nicholas, Sacrotype, Dan, Bryant, Trevor, and James. And you can sign up for any tier. There's a tier, I think $5 and up, or $4 and less, or something like that. If you're on the Horror Hound tier, you get to pick a movie that we review, which is always exciting, because then you can make us watch something that maybe we don't want to watch, like Vicious again. You could pick it. Mike would have to watch it again.
Not Vicious again. I will put my foot down. But something like Vicious,
you'll put your foot down, or you'll cut off your foot and put it in a box and send it to the person. Yeah, when you join up, you get episodes of the main show 48 hours early, as well as exclusive listens to Stream Screens, which are Patreon exclusive, hosted by Jill. And all that is left is let you know about the horrific playlist. So go to Spotify, go to the It Slays Podcast horrific playlist. If you have any problems finding it, you can go to any of the social media that I just mentioned a couple moments ago. Go into the Linktree link, click on it. It'll take you directly there. I upload scores and licensed music from iconic horror movies we review, or just horror movies we love. I update it regularly. It's spooky season. You should be listening to it. I know Jill, she's got a Halloween party. Actually, when you listen to this, the Halloween party probably already happened, but she went to the playlist, grabbed some songs from it to be jamming. Hopefully some Christine John Carpenter is on her playlist, because that is a banger. And yeah, we'll be back again. I think the Black Phone 2, we kind of did 2 double episodes recording around the same time, so I think I also said in the other one, we're going to be back to talk about the Black Phone 2. I don't know what order these are going to come out, but we'll be back. Colton will be back. And yeah, as always, thank you for all the support. I am your humble host, Rowan.
Bye, it's Mike.
And if you keep listening, we'll keep slaying.